Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahar Rose DeVore, the founder and CEO of the Travel Coach Network and the creator and instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. Today, we have one of our Travel Coach Certification Program members and graduates, Laura Rahn. Laura is a certified family travel coach and a military brat who loves to involve her family in the vacation planning process, including her big kids. As her family lives by the mantra, seldom a dull moment, Laura has been dreaming, designing, and departing on family vacations for close to 20 years. Laura has been blogging about her vacations for almost 15 years with over 200 posts and almost 122,000 views. As a family travel coach, Laura helps empower her families to dream, design, and depart on those family vacations as they create meaningful connections and memories, while also allowing opportunities for individual and self-discovery. Laura, thank you so much for joining us on the TCN podcast today. I'm excited to chat with you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get started on, tell us, where did your passion for travel stem from? Where'd your love for travel stem from?
Well, I feel like I've been traveling my whole life. My father was in the Air Force for 20 years. And so as a military brat, I was never in a place for longer than 2 years. And he retired when I was in college. So my whole formative years were traveling. And I lived in probably 10 different places between kindergarten and high school. And then probably the most exciting place was during 3 years of high school. My dad was stationed in Italy. So I was there for high school, and I just knew, well, I only knew traveling. Moving to a new place, unpacking, getting to know who was there, making new friends, seeing what was around me. And when I graduated from college, I became a teacher. And luckily, I found a husband who wanted to spend all summer traveling. And so I've been doing that with my two daughters, who are now 20 and 24, since they were young.
Would you, out of all your travels, is there a trip or a place that you have visited that you would say really made a big impact on you or transformed you in some way?
Definitely. Thinking back to traveling with my first family, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and our 3 years in Italy, it changed me. We'd always been moving around stateside in different places, and I went to a Department of Defense school, so a school with other American kids, but we lived out with the Italians in the economy. I rode the buses, we did the transport and stuff, and we went shopping, and I learned the language. And being in high school, I had a lot of independence. And so my friends and I would go out, and we would go shopping, and we would take the buses and the trains and go to different places. And that's when I realized there's a whole lot more out there than just what is in your house and your home where you are.
Yeah, that there's so much out in this world to explore and to experience than what we are, used to in our daily routines and
Yeah.
lives. I hear that often from people. So you were talking about you were traveling with your family when you're younger, and then you met your husband, and then he luckily enjoyed traveling as well, and you guys started traveling with your kids. What were some of the struggles or things that you realized when you started traveling with your children, or what you call your big kids eventually?
Well, I just was talking to someone about this the other day, and my daughters are now 22 and 24, or almost 22. And so I've been through all those phases of filling the minivan to where it's overflowing for the toddlers, to trying to help the tweens let them pack themselves and figure out what they want. And I'll sort of that transformative time with my big kids would probably be when we took a Disney trip in 2017. The girls were about 15 and 13, or 15 and 17 or something. And I planned it all. It was a bucket list trip for me. And we're going to Disney at Christmas, and I wanted to do it, and it was going to be magical. And my 17-year-old wasn't having it in a respectful way, but she wanted to do things that she wanted to do. And I got angry about it, and my 15-year-old felt like her sister wasn't being nice, and my husband got frustrated, and that trip became known as the trip that was hijacked by my daughters. Until basically I enrolled in the TCCP and started really thinking about travel coaching, and reflecting back on that, I was like, I never asked her what she wanted. I never talked to her about, what do you want this trip to look like? I never brought their voices in. And so that's something that I work with my clients on now, and I'm really passionate about. Before you leave, make sure you talk with everyone. What do they want from this trip? What do they want to do? Where do they want to go? So that you don't have the experience I had 7 years ago.
Yeah, so you brought that up. It inspired what inspired you to want to become a travel coach? It's one thing to have a family and realize these things when you were planning your trips for your own family, and then but you had a background of being a teacher. What inspired you, or where did that desire come from to want to be a travel coach, especially in helping families?
Well, it's funny. And the easy answer is the Travel Coach Network. The long answer is that I was getting ready to retire from education last year. And my second passion was travel. 33 years as an educator, my second passion, travel. And I've always helped people plan vacations. And when anyone asked, oh, what's your dream job? I'd be like, oh, a travel agent. I knew, though, I didn't want to be a travel agent and be responsible for all the booking. I didn't want people calling me at midnight or early in the morning because something went wrong that I had helped them plan. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do. My husband found one of your social media articles by accident, shared it with me as I'm clicking the button basically to retire from education. And I did a deep dive and realized that my last 7 years in education, I'd been an instructional coach. And I saw travel coach. I didn't know what that was. I explored it more and basically emailed you and enrolled in the program. And it's been the best second chapter that I could have ever imagined.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I remember when we had our private session that you were saying your husband found the CNN travel article,
Mm-hmm.
which was an incredible article with a lot of the members of the Travel Coach Network and myself and the TCN in general got featured in, that went viral. But
Yeah.
what so going into now realizing that you want to become a travel coach and you're learning, what it is, what has been some of your biggest aha moments or takeaways from your time in the Travel Coach Network and the program? Because a lot of people who are starting off as a travel coach are not sure if that's the path for me. Um, it holds them back. They have a lot of limiting beliefs of like, would anyone want to work with me, or anyone, you know, I've never heard of this before, so it's not really a thing. Doesn't exist, or so therefore I must be a travel agent and continue to book trips, but that's not really what I feel like doing. Because I know you mentioned that, and that's also what I align with is when like I said, throughout my story, I was never interested in planning and booking trips for people. For me, it was like my anxiety just did not allow me to take responsibility over someone's
Mm-hmm.
travels. And, what if things went wrong, or I typed in the wrong passport information, or whatever it might be? It's not my thing. And I always felt like there had to be more. So I hear more and more people who are like, yeah, me too. I love helping people with the travel aspect, but not keen on the booking aspect of it. But going back to my original question, with the certification program or just in the TCN in general, the community too, what are some of the biggest takeaways or aha moments that you've had? Because I know you've had to do a lot of a deep dive for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Everything you said is so true. I was very comfortable once I started exploring and enrolled and started in the modules. I was very comfortable with the idea of the coaching aspect, like the one-on-one coaching. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I had been an instructional coach for 7 years. I had been trained in coaching, and a lot of one-on-one I'd been doing through education. So I felt like I can do that. And then, so I finished thinking I'm going to be a one-on-one family travel coach and help moms just plan trips. As I was going through and finished and then started launching my business, I realized these people aren't just coming to me like I thought they would. I'm wonderful. Come talk to me about planning a trip. And it was the support from the Travel Coach Network that really helped me sort of clarify what else did I want to do with this. I knew I wanted to have fun. I knew it was my passion to travel, to plan travel, to talk to people about travel. And maybe I didn't need to just have this lineup of one-to-one sessions. Maybe I could do it another way. And so through a lot of support and talking with other travel coaches, which has been great too, networking, and then working with you, I've found other ways. I still have clients and I'm still doing one-on-one, but I found other ways to have fun with this.
Yeah, we in the TCN, I always tell you guys, you can build your business however it is that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can create the revenue streams that bring you interest. Because I know for myself, when I was on my own journey of figuring out what do I want to do with my as a career in general, and also as, you know, with my love and knowledge of travel. And even though I didn't know what I wanted, I knew what I didn't want to do. And so I think it's just as important if you're not sure what you want or how your business is going to look, it's really important to identify what do you not want it to look like? How do you not want to spend your time? And therefore, it helps you narrow down more. Well, okay, maybe this is something I can give a try. So maybe it's taking that knowledge and my expertise, and instead of exchanging it for time in a one-on-one session or a group coaching session, um, I can create it, put it into a digital product of some sort, or I could do in-person retreats or something like that. So every one of you in the Travel Coach Network, travel coaches in general, just have so many different ways that you can incorporate and combine what you do and who you help and how you help people in unique ways, because travel means something different to all of you, and all of you want a business that looks different. It's not like the travel agent world where it's, you know, this is exactly the steps that need to be taken in order to do the process. But with that said, there's a many who do combine travel coaching into that travel agent role as well. Because even though booking trips wasn't my thing, it is for a lot of other people, and that's 1,000,000% okay. And so it's just a way to really think about how else can I take what I know and believe in about travel and help those who I really want to help. So that goes into share who are your ideal clients and why? Why did you choose them?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been taking big family vacations, my husband and my two daughters, since 2010, when they were 10 and 8. And still in 15 days, we're leaving for another big family vacation. And so it hasn't stopped. And I have learned so much. And through my blog, my family travel blog, which was just that, a family travel blog until I joined the TCN, there's a big audience. And they would always ask, you know, oh my gosh, how do you do this? How do you plan these trips? These are amazing. How are your kids having fun? I take my kids on vacation, all they do is complain. And, you know, we spend all that money and they sit in their room on a screen. And so in hearing that from friends and in helping friends get ideas for their family vacations, it's where I sort of went to family travel coach with big kids, because, you know, there's a certain amount of control you have up until they're about 7, 8, 9, 10, where you can put them in the car and you can pack their suitcases for them and you can create the fun for them. Once the kids get older, it becomes more of a, what can we all do together to create those memories where they will want to continue vacationing as a family and not want to go do their own thing. And that's bringing their voices into it. So I want to help moms and dads, parents, create those vacations by bringing all the voices into the planning process, whether the kids are 25 or 30 and have their own kids and you're doing a multi-generational trip, or you have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old at home. How can you create that vacation that everyone will have fun with?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I can imagine the frustration it must be, especially when parents spend a lot of money or work with a travel agent on booking trips and their kids just, aren't in on it, or because as we know as parents in general,
Mhm.
we understand the value that travel has on for our children as a family too, the connection, the memories, um, just the enrichment. Share some other reasons why families in general should consider traveling with their kids, no matter how old they are. What are some of the benefits they can get out of it?
I I've asked my daughters this now that since I've been in TCN and become certified and everything, I've had long talks with my two daughters who are now adults. And, how we've been traveling as a family forever. How has it helped you? And my one daughter, my 24-year-old, just got back from Maine with her girlfriend, and they did their own Acadia National Park trip and navigated everything. And they've done that numerous times. And so I've talked to her, how did you get there? And she's like, well, it's because of us, because of our family. We were always doing these things. You built my confidence. You helped me understand that I can do this by myself. You helped me realize that there's a lot of world out there that I want to go see, and I can do it, and I don't have to wait for you to take me. And my second daughter, a little bit of a different story in that she was we were on all the vacations, all the family vacations together, and it helped her identify what kind of traveling she wanted to do as an adult. She's more of I want to go to where the shopping is, and I want to explore the big cities, and I want to see all the busyness of what this world has. My first daughter is I want to go to nature. I want to see what all the natural places are. And I don't know if they would have discovered that about themselves if we hadn't had such a wide range of family travels from national parks to New York City to here and there. If we hadn't done that, I don't know if they would know that much about themselves at this point.
Yeah, that's so true. Like you said, you got the travel bug because you were already always traveling yourself when you were younger. Yeah, when we're exposed to these different things, and as we grow, travel, and then as we get older, we realize what travel is doing for us. And so to hear that your daughters have the confidence to now travel and they realize that there's so much more of the world out there than where they're from, or what they're used to, or their hometown, or whatnot. And I know that you also agree that the benefit, the power of travel itself on what it does for us as individuals, um, especially as women too. There's a reason why solo female travel is such a huge industry. The empowerment, the confidence, the independence that it can give you, and just the fulfillment and enrichment of having these experiences. And then as a family itself too, what between you and your husband and your children, were there any things that you realized that travel was doing for you? So if there's families out there who haven't, they just like, oh, we're too busy, it's too expensive, travel just isn't something I'm thinking of. What are some tips or pieces of advice that you would say they should consider taking a trip of any sort, and why? Well, how would that benefit a family?
Mm-hmm. I think it even goes back to my first family of four: my mother, my father, and my sister, and then myself and my husband and two daughters. Ironically, it's the same family dynamics that I grew up with that I have now. And we're closer. We are each other's, we have those memories. We have that fun, and we have those moments that we can sit around at Christmas time and laugh about and reflect back 10 years ago to our trip to Alaska. And so that opportunity for a family to carve out those few days and just get away from everything and create those memories. It offers that unity, it offers that togetherness. that when we're living our day-to-day worlds, lives with big kids, you're lucky if you have dinner together at this point.
Yeah, that's so true. We're all caught up in our own hustle and bustle of our everyday lives. We often forget to spend time in a meaningful way. And that's one opportunity that travel can provide us with, right? I
Mhm,
hear all the time people say, well, I travel because I like to create memories, because it just means that much to us. Being able to learn more about your family members, whether it's your parents or your children, and, get outside of your comfort zones and these experiences that you have create stories, like you're saying, it's stories that you can now share with one another. These stories enrich the children as well. They have stories to share, and it opens their eyes to, the different cultures and the people. We want our children to be as well-rounded as we can, right? We want them to be,
mhm,
decent human beings who accept and understand other people. And even if they don't understand, they at least accept them and acknowledge our differences. But
mhm,
then also realize that we aren't as different around this world as we think we are. I think with, schools and social media and, it's can be really tricky for people, kids in general, to, um, you know, there's so much noise out there. So when they can create their own experiences through travel and they realize, they learn and they connect with people that are different beliefs, different cultures, different lifestyles, they can bring that home with them to their
yeah,
schools, to how they act on the internet, to their family conversations, and I know that's something that it did for me in general, as a traveler, is that I gained a whole new perspective on our how different we are, but then we're all seeking acceptance and belonging and kindness and trust and help and protection and everything. And we want our kids to be kind people who accept others when they're in need and help them when they're in need. So being able to put ourselves into other places in this world, we realize, wow, people are really kind to us, or you just understand more about our differences. And I think that's really, really important. And so being able to expose our children to that is something that can really help them thrive in their future.
yeah, and that those years between, like, 12 and 26, you know, there's so much that they can take in
Yeah.
as they're really forming who they wanna be and what their identity will be, and I really feel like the traveling we've done in that time span with my daughters has really helped them sort of understand the world. And you can learn a lot about your kids when you're road tripping through the West with no cell service. The
Right.
conversations, the fun in the car, and maybe there's conflict, but then that becomes something to talk about also. So it's really that together time. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know that you recently graduated from the program, but you've already had some clients. So
Mhm.
congrats on that. Can you share, without giving names of clients, just some of the scenarios of what were they looking for and how did you help them? Because that's something that I know a lot of people ask. It's like, well, who would work with a travel coach? Why? What is it? What's something that I can't do on my own or that a travel agent wouldn't be doing for me already?
Mhm. So I've had a few clients and it's been through word of mouth, which has been nice. I'm still trying to figure out how to find them out in the world and word of mouth. And one is a friend who I've been talking to forever, but she's like, I want to be an official client and have you help me. And they're going to Europe this summer on a cruise, but they're looking at excursions with her two adult sons, looking at excursions, looking at other things to do. And so we've been talking a lot, and I've been coaching her a lot on just what to do or how to organize it and those kinds of things. I'm also working with one of my husband's colleagues on a multi-generational Disney trip with grandma and grandpa and mom and dad and the kids. And, how can everyone have fun? How can they create the memories, thinking about the needs of everyone involved and keeping everyone happy and not having meltdowns and things like that. I also just recently heard, I have a Facebook group, and I also recently heard from someone in the group that I've been using a lot of what you've been posting as I'm preparing for my next big trip with my adult kids. So you don't know what's happening out there really. And so I just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's fun.
that's exactly what you should be doing, is just keep on, getting what we say, getting visible, and putting yourself out there and spreading your message and your ideas and your beliefs around travel for your ideal clients. I hope that you took a screenshot of that comment in your Facebook group. That's a really great piece of proof, of, the value that you provide in general, to use. But yeah, I love that. I love just also hearing your excitement about how you are empowering and helping these families and
Mhm.
friends, have these experiences. And I love that you tapped into the multi-generational, because that's something that is also on the rise, and what is really, really important, for your children too, to travel with their
Yeah.
grandparents and vice versa. And I know that's not easy. That we have another travel coach, in the program, who she focuses on, um, multi-generational, but mostly for the elderly side of it, because it's not easy. And a lot of people will, you know, there's so many limiting beliefs or thoughts or fears or worries, concerns about traveling with someone of a certain over a certain age. But yet I know for her, it really made an impact being able to, create these memories with them before it was too late, and for them to create memories with their grandchildren before it was too late too.
Yeah.
So, travel really can en enlighten us, in so many different ways in our life, but sometimes we just have people don't do it because there's so many, limiting beliefs around it, especially when it comes to money and everything.
Hmm.
Um, so congrats again on your clients. It's really fun and exciting. I love hearing how much you enjoyed the program and the community and the connections that you make. It's really what we strive to do for you in the certification program and the TCN in general. But I know that you're working on a book. Can you
Yes.
share a little bit more about what it's all about?
Yeah. And it was actually the one of the modules or one of the something in the replay cabin that got me thinking about this, because I was thinking about other revenue streams and just I've said numerous times already, I want this to be fun. This is my second chapter. I don't want it to be work. And so I started thinking, what else can I do? And so I started thinking about everything that I've developed through the program, and then also just in my mindset and the experiences with my daughters. So I've put it all together in a book, and it's called Hey Kids, Let's Go on a Vacation. And part of my business is broken into three pieces. You're dreaming about your vacation, you're designing your vacation, and then you're departing on your vacation. So the book is divided into three sections, and it's an interactive sort of a little bit of information and then some worksheets where you can work with your family and fill in the blanks and talk to each other while you're dreaming about your vacation. So, where do we want to go? Why do you want to go to that place? Why should we even go on a vacation? And then you get to the designing part, and it's like, well, what kinds of things do you want to do on vacation? And there's places for the big kids to fill it in and put all their answers in so that you can have that family dialogue as you're working through that whole process before you even leave on your vacation. And it's also going to have a digital companion site so that you can download and print out all of the worksheet pieces. So you don't have to write in the book if you don't want to. And my goal is that it will be available hopefully in early August.
That's really fun. As you're explaining that, that it sounds like a really fun gift for parents.
Yeah.
It's a good holiday gift, or a good, birthday gift, just gift in general to give to parents of families, especially that interactive part. I don't know of too many books that do that. So that sounds really fun, especially because you're trying to get your kids involved too. So
Yep.
that interaction is really great. Well, we're heading towards the end of our conversation here today, but I always love to end it with a fun fact about yourself, but it doesn't have to be business or travel related that you can share with our audience.
So, in thinking about that, I think the biggest thing that has sort of been who I've come and has guided me even through education is, I'm a big Walt Disney fan. Now, not Walt Disney the place, though that's a lot of fun too, but Walt Disney the man. And his quote, "If you can dream it, you can do it," has really just sort of been my mantra. I wanted to do this when I was a teacher. And I'm like, well, if you can dream it, you can do it. I had a poster on the wall in my classroom for years of his quote. And then my one of my favorite characters is Mary Poppins. And, a spoonful of sugar. And so, you want to find the fun. It's kind of fun to do the impossible, you know. In every job that can be done, there's an element of fun. So we go to Disney World a lot. In fact, Disneyland is on our next big vacation, part of it. And it's just the innovation, the creativity, his dreaming, and he made it happen. And that's sort of when I decided to do this, purchase the membership, go through the TCN. I was like, okay, I can do this. I've been dreaming it for a long time. I can do it. So yeah.
Thank you for doing that. And you are doing it, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you were inspiring your students with that poster on the wall too. I think
Yep.
that's really important for kids to hear those type of things and be able to believe in themselves.
Mhm.
But it's up to us to set those examples and to empower and motivate them. But well, Laura, how can our listeners find and follow and learn more about you?
So I have a Facebook group where I post numerous times throughout the week, whether it's inspirational, fun quotes, or articles I've found around family travel, or tips and tricks from my family adventures. So I have the Facebook group, and it's Seldom A Dull Moment, Family Travel Coach. I'm on Instagram. I'm more active on Facebook, but I'm getting there with Instagram. And my blog will be updating it a lot as my daughters and I head out to our next big vacation to Las Vegas and Los Angeles in about 3 weeks. So yeah, there's numerous places that I'm available.
Wonderful. Well, we will be sure to put all of those links in the show notes for us. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today
Yeah,
on the TCN podcast.
thank you very much.
Everyone, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Travel Coach Network and learn more at thetravelcoachnetwork.com. Come give us a hello in our TCN Global Community on Facebook. You can find the link for that and your free beginner's guide to travel coaching in the show notes, along with all of Laura's links as well. If you know anyone who might be interested in travel coaching, please be sure to send them our way to our podcast. We truly appreciate it. Until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.